driving up here, and I realized I hadn't been on a road trip in about 2.5 years. Damn, COVID is ridiculous. And normally, if you caught me in a normal day, I'd be in my underpants right now. That's insane. How did we get here? This is ridiculous. Anyway, as I was driving up, I was remembering so many road trips, and then I got to thinking, the whole thing is a road trip, okay? The whole damn thing. We all drove here on a road trip to get here to the building, even if you live a block away. And so I started backing it in, and I started thinking about some of the first road trips I made. And I have, I guess, the Japanese to thank for this. Because they bombed Pearl Harbor, a buck private from Thompson, Iowa, lived on a farm, got drafted. He did his basic training in Alabama, and they transferred him to a brand new air base in the middle of the Mojave Desert called the Kingman Air Base. He told me he got off a train on his 21st birthday with a duffel bag over his shoulder, and they walked him down Front Street, and he said out loud to anyone who could hear, "I will never come back to this hellhole." My mother, meanwhile, was nubile. She was one of 5 ranching daughters that had their pick of the litter of any cowboys in Mojave County. She was engaged to the cattle king of Mojave County. And then she went on a blind date with that bucktooth private from Thompson, Iowa. And he said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Guess." And he said, "I don't know, Ethel?" Her name was Bobby Guess, in the Guess family. She had to return all the wedding presents, and which couldn't have been I didn't know about this until the last 5 years, when one of the last aunts, one of my aunts, took me aside and says, "You need to know something about your mother." That is the favorite thing I know about my mother that I've ever known. That is fantastic. Anyway, so that began a constant road trip between Thompson, Iowa, and Kingman, Arizona. They were married in the same church that Clark Gable was married at, in St. John's Methodist Church in Kingman. And when they got married, the first thing my dad moved us to Peach Springs, Arizona, with a mobile gas station, right on old Route 66. And then he got tired of that, and he went back and opened a Phillips 66 in Soy City, Iowa. And then the ping pong game began. And my earliest memories are being on Road 66, and my dad stopping, and I was standing in the back seat, and I hit my head on the back of the seat. That's my earliest memory. Okay? Now, fast forward, and my dad landed in Kingman for what turned out to be the last time, and he had a classic Al Bell's Flying A service station with pumps, 6 rows of pumps, the Tideway Cafe, which looked like Tidway, T-Y-D-W-A-Y, and there's a huge sign that said, "Jugs iced free." And if you remember, some of you are in here old enough, in those days, 4 guys attacked every car. You'd hear the bell ring when the cars came in. Boing, boing. 4 guys would come out of the office. They had suits on. Their name was over their heart. They had a cap on, a military cap. And the first guy would come up the window and he'd say, "Fill it with flight fuel." You know, we had names for our gas in those days. You put flight fuel in, you start flying. The second guy would wash all the windows all the way around, including the wing windows. which they don't even make anymore. The third guy would check all the tires, including the spare in the back, because we would tell them, you're about to go over the most dangerous desert in the world, and you better be prepared. And then the fourth guy would go under the hood and cut all the fan belts. It was kingdom. I was the fifth guy. I was 9 years old. I had a Little League cap on. I played right field for the Oddfellow Yankees. And I got to tell you, Oddfellows takes up the whole back of your shirt. Anyway, I would go up to the window and I'd say, have you got any jugs you'd like ice-free? I was so nervous the first day. The first day I had to do it, and we were ready, and here comes the car, and I went out and I said, jugs the button? I'm sorry. And I got a quarter tip. I was so thrilled. And I saved up that whole summer. I saved $11, and I ordered a book. What kind of a nerd orders a book after working in a gas station all summer? But I've seen it on the pages of True Us magazine, my favorite magazine. And so I ordered the biographical album of Western Gunfighters by Ed Bartholomew. I still have the book. It was one of the inspirations for my career, how I ended up here tonight.